it's Kelly. I'm a Foodwise coach. I want to tell you a little bit about Foodwise. Foodwise is a charity based in Guildford. The sole purpose of Foodwise is to relieve food poverty in our community through education, provision of food and teaching skills of how to cook a healthy meal on a restricted budget. There is an over-reliance on processed food and ready-made meals, which are often not good for our health and well-being. So at Foodwise, we want to teach people how to cook healthy meals on a budget and show them how you can save money as well as eat healthily. The idea is that if you're cooking from home, you are eating healthier, you're eating nutritious meals, you're eating a much more tasty and a flavourful food. On our free cooking skills training course, you will develop a lot of confidence and be confident in the kitchen, and there's a lot of self-esteem and pride in what you've created, as well as saved a little bit of money. So if you've enjoyed this video, remember that Foodwise is a charity and a small donation would be helpful. It's Kelly here. I'm going to show you today how to make a veggie chili con carne. I've got some tomatoes, a tin of tomatoes, a tin of mixed beans or kidney beans. I can use tomato puree if I want to add that to it, that's not a problem. I had one pepper in the fridge. I've got red onion, but you can use white onion, it's not necessary. I have one last garlic that I wanted to use, but if you don't have it, that's fine too, it's not necessary. The idea of adding garlic is, again, flavouring, keeping it more Mexican as you possibly can. And the key ingredient in Mexican cooking is always garlic, smoked paprika, cumin, and you will find that that gives you the Mexican flavours. But also you can buy packets of ready-made Mexican food, but I have invested in individual spices and herbs in my kitchen. But often you will find a mixed packet is cheaper for you. But by all means, if you have separate spices and herbs, use those. Salt and pepper for seasoning. And another interesting ingredient that I put into my cooking is dark chocolate. Mexicans do like to use a bit of dark chocolate. It gives that a little bit of a depth to your flavour, and if you have it, use it. If you don't, omit it, that's fine too. I'm going to cook this chilies with potato wedges, but you can quite often have it with white boiled rice, or even put it inside a wrap. So that's a good way of having chili, a great staple food. Can be cooked on a Sunday evening when you're doing your batch cooking, and then put away for the week, midweek meal. Excellent, cheap and healthy. I have just rinsed my potatoes, and the first thing I do is I'm going to make my wedges. And an easy way to make wedges, and a more attractive way of doing it, is cutting them lengthwise. I find it looks really nice, and again, you can cut it horizontally, but this is my way of doing it. So I have sliced my wedges fairly thick. I like them quite thick. Just liberally salt them a little bit, just to give it a good flavour. Salt, a little bit of pepper, and a little bit of cooking oil. The idea of putting them inside a bag is that it's easier to massage, and you don't need so much oil to brush them through. And just give it a good massage that way. Oil to coat the wedges, and the salt to go around liberally everywhere. Once it's coated, pop them into a tray. And separate them nicely. in a single layer. Pop them in the oven and at about 180 degrees for 20 minutes. So I'm going to begin my chili by adding 2 tablespoons of cooking oil. I tend to use a mix of olive oil and cooking oil, and it's a lighter version, never the extra virgin oil. The extra virgin oil is more for cold press and using it for salads, etc. And to that I'm going to add my onion. The onions are now slightly translucent, so to that I'm going to add my kidney beans and my sweet corn. To add the heat and smokiness, I'm going to add a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Obviously, if you wanted to add some chili as well to get really extra hot, you can do that. But today I'm going to restrain myself. Also, a little bit of cumin. It's part of a Mexican cuisine, adds flavour to it. About a teaspoon, and a little bit of salt. I would say about just under a teaspoon I've added, and keep stirring it. Let the flavours get into this. Then once the flavours are encased in your beans, add your tomatoes. The tomatoes will incorporate with your beans very well, and if you find that it's too tight, you can always add water. I've put 50 ml in the recipe to add as water, but sometimes you may not need it. And you can also add tomato puree. Follow the recipe by all means, but also add and take away things that suit you and your palate. I have added a little bit of water just to make my stock a little bit runnier, to just make it a little bit looser. By the time I add the chocolate in it, it will be nice and thick, and by cooking it, boiling it for a little while, the water will evaporate gently. Try and cook it on a gentle heat. So add your peppers in there, and then just stir those in there. I like my peppers to be quite crunchy, so not soggy and overcooked. So I'll pop those in at towards the end, and then and to thicken this sauce up, I'll also add some chocolate to it. It adds a little bit of depth to your flavours. Wedges are looking lovely, ready for my lunch. There is so much chili here that I could use it for about 4 portions. Put it away in takeaway containers in your freezer. Label it with a date and the contents of what you're putting in, and eat it within 2-3 weeks and you're sorted. I hope you've enjoyed this making vegetarian chili with potato wedges, and join me again next time. We are excited to be running a competition to be in with the chance to win 2 Deliveroo £10 vouchers. Post a photograph of your creation to Instagram, then tag and like Enactus_Surrey and Foodwise TLC. If you want to enter this competition, entries need to be in by this Friday.